a good week and are looking forward to the long weekend. Today we're going to talk and take some notes on histograms. So you guys have seen this on your practice pages this week, and we've talked about it a little bit, but today we're going to go way more in depth with it, okay? So to start, we're going to talk about the difference between bar graphs and histograms, because they kind of look similar, right? They both have bars, okay? And they're both graphs, yeah? But the main difference between a bar graph and a histogram is that bar graphs represent categories. So here, categories, these are countries, USA, India, UK, okay? So those represent different countries or different categories. And then also there is a space between the bars because it's not represented on a number line down here. There's no number line down here, okay? With histograms, each bar represents a range of numbers, or what we call an interval. So 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15. So what this bar is saying is that, here we'll use this one, it's a little more clear, but between the numbers 6 and 10 from this data set, there were 20 numbers between 6 and 10. So that's what this graph is representing. It's a range of numbers in the bottom with intervals, and there's no gaps between the bars. Those are the main differences. So bar graphs represent categories, and they have gaps between the bars. Histograms are a range of numbers with intervals, and there are no gaps in the bars. Okay, so you're gonna wanna make sure that you have either this page downloaded from Canvas or this page open in your math notebook on creating histograms, okay? So, first, it says the first step in creating a histogram is that we are gonna create a frequency table using the intervals given, okay? So here, I already gave you the intervals, but now you need to fill in the frequency table. So frequency means how often something is occurring, okay? Frequently, so how often a number is occurring within that interval. And then we fill in the frequency table by tallies, okay? So first, creating histograms show how often data falls into different ranges or intervals. That's the whole purpose of histograms, to show how often numbers fit into, fall into different ranges or intervals, okay? And then we said that to create a frequency table, we are going to use tallies. So tally marks like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then when you get to 5, you cross it out, okay? So we're gonna use tally marks as we go on our frequency table. So for starters, I'm gonna come down here and I'm gonna look at my data set. So this is our data set, 125, 210, 236, 157, blah, 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 blah. So I'm gonna look at 125 and I'm gonna say, well, 125, where does that go on my frequency table? Well, 125 falls between the interval of 100 to 149. So I'm gonna put a tally there, and then I'm also gonna cross out 125. Okay, we wanna cross out the numbers, that way we know it's already been accounted for on our frequency table. So we cross out the number, we put a tally for the interval. So we're gonna keep going. So 210, 210. Where's that gonna go? Well, 210 is between the intervals of 200 to 249. So I'm gonna put a tally there, and then I'm gonna cross off 210. And then we're gonna keep going. So 236, where does 236 go? Oh, it goes here, tally, cross it off, okay? 157, where does 157 go? 157 goes between the intervals of 150 to 199. So we're gonna put a tally here and cross off 157, okay? So go ahead through and cross off as you go and fill in your tallies, and then your frequency table when you're done should look like this. So go ahead and pause the video for a second, fill in your frequency table, making sure that you're crossing off the numbers as you go, okay? Now, this is a little thing, but it is important in making sure that you don't miss a number or count a number twice. Go back and count how many original numbers you had in your data set, and then count how many total tallies you have, and those numbers should obviously be the same. So here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I had 14 original numbers, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 tallies. So that means that I'm good. That's a way to check. Count the original numbers in the data set, count how many tallies you have, make sure that all numbers are accounted for and only accounted for once. So we're good. Okay, so So we did step number 1. So now step number 2 says draw a bar for each interval. So here are my intervals on my graph over here, and I'm going to say, okay, for 100 to 149, I am going to go up to 2 because there's 2 numbers that fell within that interval. So I'm going to draw a bar here that goes up to 2, and I'm just going to kind of fill it in a little bit. Okay, so fill it in a little bit. Now for 150 to 199, there was also 2 numbers. So we're going to put another bar going up to 2 for that interval. Okay? And then the next one, we had 7 tallies. So our bar needs to go all the way up to 7. Now there isn't one of the lines, but we know that 7 is between 6 and 8. So we would draw a line halfway through 6 and 8, and that would give us a bar up to 7. Okay? And then the last one we had 3 tallies for, so we would go up to 3, make a bar there. Okay? So once you have all your bars drawn, you are done. Okay? So now if I look at my histogram, it really helps me see where my numbers are and how they are spread out, how that data set is spread out. So once it's like this, I can see that the majority of my numbers, or the most numbers, were between 200 and 249, right? And then the least amount of numbers were down here and then over here. So the height of orange trees, I could then take this data and interpret things from it. I could say most orange trees are taller than 200 meters, because that would include most of our trees. Most trees are above 200 meters. So from our histogram, we can then interpret different data from it. Okay? So just a couple other things to note real fast is that histograms are just another way to represent data. Okay? Just like dot plots and tables, they were ways to display data. This is just another way to look at the frequency of numbers. Another way to represent data and statistics. Okay? Histograms are a really good way to show continuous data. For example, weights, height, time, those are all continuous things. So histograms are great for that because there's no gaps or spaces in a histogram. So it's a really good way to show continuous data. Whatever kind of data is continuous. And then it's also just a quick note on intervals. You guys, for regular Math 6, you won't have to create intervals. We will give them to you. But just note that sometimes the intervals look a little weird, like 100 to 149. That actually has 50 numbers in it because 100 is included and 149 is included. So we never want to repeat numbers in our intervals because then we would be tallying a number twice. So that's why we need to stop at 149. We wouldn't say 100 to 150 and then put the next interval 150 to 200 because then 150 would be twice. So that's why we say 100 to 149 and then the next interval would start at 150 to 200, okay? So it's kind of weird because those numbers are big. Like I said, for regular Math 6, you won't have to create intervals, but it is something to note, making sure that numbers are never repeated when we're writing down intervals, okay? And then make sure that you count the numbers that in your original data set and then count the tallies and make sure that they align to check and make sure that every number is accounted for and every number is only accounted for in one interval, okay? So let me know if you guys have any questions. Go ahead and fill out your notes page, submit it like normal, and you will be good to go. Have an awesome long weekend. You guys deserve it. You've been working hard. Nice job. Keep it up.